Patrick, your thoughts? Did you enjoy this movie?
I did enjoy this movie. I think this is a classic example of if the story doesn't engage you that much, make up for it with good filmmaking. Because that's what we have here. I found the cinematography captivating. Just the general look of the movie. I really appreciated how it was. It was certainly a unique style of storytelling. The story itself wasn't that interesting.
No, it was a very light story. It was you have Hitman being double
Well,
crossed by Yakuza and by
yeah,
number one Hitman.
I say it's not that unique or not that great of a story. And there was some like kind of interesting stuff though. Like I like kind of the setup to him being banished, if you will. Like the whole like the butterfly landing, like that stuff was really neat. I feel like there's something symbolic there. I don't know if there's maybe something within Japanese culture about butterflies
Yeah.
because she's the one obsessed with butterflies. And then if there's like something about her kind of causing that assassination to fail, which leads him to kind of basically in straight into her arms. Basically, I'm not 100% sure. Again, there could be a cultural thing that you and I just can't grasp. Of course, I liked the movie quite a bit. It's definitely odd. It's definitely bizarre. It's definitely unique. Specifically, the details about the fetish stuff in the movie. It's a good movie. I didn't love it. It's no battles without honor and humanity. Not that it's trying to be,
No,
but just to reference one of the better Japanese films that we've covered. And at this point, we've covered our fair share. Jim, what about you? Was this kind of what you were hoping for? Because I guess I just learned recently that you didn't see it all the way through before. So did you kind of get out of it what you got a year ago when you saw it?
So a year ago, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the action scenes. I liked all the Hitman stuff. And again, that action scene with him on the pier, I thought that was great. I still think it's great. The movie went in a different direction than I was expecting it to go. And the first three quarters of the movie I really enjoyed. But that last quarter with like just number one and him, it kind of dragged a bit for me. And I
Okay.
wasn't really sure why the character of number one was doing all of this, what the point was, why he was, extending this where it didn't have to be. I liked the ending. I thought it was a fitting end for this character, who was this hitman who had killed many people, and he's finally number one, which is what he's
For
presumably
Hanada,
always
yeah.
wanted to be, and then he died, and he says it in a boxing ring. Yeah, it went in a different direction, but I still really enjoyed the movie. I really enjoyed the characters. I really liked the filmmaking techniques, all of the odd things that were either shown like even again like the stage play aspect of like the house being caught on fire.
The use of shadows, very
Yes.
film noir-ish.
Yeah.
I would say even the eroticism of the way those scenes are shot is, again, certainly nothing I can compare it to from its contemporary films.
Yeah. What were they doing in this movie in 1967? Like these are things that you don't expect from this movie at all.
And throwing in there too kind of the jazz score.
Yeah.
Yeah, good movie. Certainly an interesting movie. Probably more interesting than good, to be perfectly honest. But a film certainly unlike anything from its time. But I think you and I would both agree, unlike anything really ever. Like
Yeah.
it's its own breed.
Yeah, I agree. And much like with Across 110th Street, I don't really have anything negative to say about this movie. I will say, and it's not just because it's my pick, but I enjoyed this movie more than Across 110th Street.
Well, hang on, because I want to say not really a negative, but the film and you referenced that one action scene, but to me, the film is at its most interesting when Misako is on screen. I couldn't get enough of that character. Neither could Hanada.
Yeah, neither could Chubby Cheeks.
She was so fascinating, and I guess if you were to say a negative, you could go one of two ways with this. You could either go, we never really learn enough about her to justify the mystery surrounding her character. Or you could say, more the viewpoint that I'm going to share, is that the movie's just not as good when she's not around. I think the 15-minute stretch where it's Hanada and Misako, and it's this like will they won't they mixed with, it's like will they won't they have sex, will they won't they fall in love, will they won't they kill each other. That was just such an interesting dynamic. I loved
Yeah.
seeing them together. That was my favorite aspect of the movie. And when you boil down to it, the story proper, number 3 wants to be number 1, then number 1 wants to kill number 3. Not that interesting.
No.
What's interesting is Misako wants him to kill this guy. We don't know why. And then all the stuff, Misako wants to die. She's, it's just, she's not suicidal, but she like is obsessed with death. All that stuff is really, really fascinating.
Yeah, and again, like, I really like these action scenes, as in, like, the 2 or 3 action scenes.
Yeah, I would say too.
I think my favorite scene is when he's talking to Mami, and he's in the doorway, all in shadow, and she's against that white wall. Like, I think that's perfect. And you're right, this movie really is driven by a few characters interacting with each other. I wouldn't even say all the characters interacting, because there's so many nothing characters.
And going back to something I raised, like, I didn't really mean to pose this as a question, but I think we have a question worth raising here is, do we get enough out of Misako to truly justify the mystery of her character? I'm not sure we do.
No, because we don't know anything about her.
She's kind of a MacGuffin.
Yeah, I remember the first time watching this movie, I thought she was a figment of his imagination.
Okay, and that would have been something, or for her to be like a secret yakuza boss or something, or like the wife of someone really important. We never really get that, and I'm not sure what I wanted out of there, but I feel like I wanted something certainly more than we got.
The only time there's character development for her is when she actually dies. She dies with a smile on her face.
Well, I mean, but that's not even development.
No, that's just coming to the end of her plot line.
Exactly, yeah, because that's from the beginning we've known she wants to die. To counter that maybe is like, again, as I mentioned with the boiling rice, is her obsession with death, is that just a fetish? Because at times maybe it seems like it is, but like, no, it's an actual obsession. It's an actual interest.
Yeah, and actually, as I was watching this movie, I thought, damn, I wish I had watched the whole movie a long time ago, and not because I disliked it, just because I was like, I wanted to get that whole picture. I wanted to get that whole view, and I wish I had watched this movie sooner as well, and more times, because I feel like this is a movie that you could rewatch a couple times before fully understanding.
Yeah, I feel like I'll probably get something different out of it the second time.
Yeah, very interesting movie.